Hey guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to what is becoming, I was going to say a nightmare, but it's not. It's an epic dream that's running at flat out pace. So in light of recent developments with the what's the word, impending sale, and only a number of days now, as I speak now, I think it's probably about 57 days, I don't know. I still haven't been given official notification, but that's the word of a date in early July. We're going to do another scrap run, so I'm not going to muck around. These are going to come along pretty regularly now. I've got the van empty, it's back down the back lane. I'm going to start loading the heavy melt steel, about 1200 kilos, and I'm not sure what I'll top it off with yet, but I'll work that out as I go. It's a beautiful sunny day here. It's late autumn. I'll get out of the sun. It's beautiful day actually for doing this, and they are forecasting rain later in the week, so I need to get this all loaded today. I plan to go down to Melbourne tomorrow, so all these little buckets of heavy melt steel will load first, and then we'll work out, as I'm loading I do a bit of planning, and we'll work out what to top the van up with. Okay, the van's all loaded. That actually didn't take long at all. I've got I think 43 buckets at 25 kilos each, and a bit of heavier, larger stuff but still under a metre in length. And I think that was about 150 kilos. So by my calculations, it's just over 1200 kilos. It gives me 200 or 300 to play with. I think I'll take some brass. I'll probably put a little bit in the back and a bit in the front section. And then we're right to go off tomorrow morning. Scrapyard, another run. Let's have a look at the yard. Hallelujah. I'm going to leave that roofing uncovered. I'm not going to stack anything on that now, and I've got to make a decision on that quickly, whether the builder uses it at my place to extend my shed. And apologies to those that were looking forward to me doing a shed project or an extension project out of recycled materials. As you'd understand, the practicalities of doing that just at the moment are near impossible, and if we can get someone to do it quickly, I've got somewhere perhaps to empty out the vintage computer gear and stuff out of the container and that old van, and somewhere to put it without paying storage fees. The yard, or the lane at least, is really nicely organised now. Let's go for a quick wander. As I mentioned, I think in the last cleanup episode, all this stuff is pressing steel on this side, and it's of low value, and if I have to get someone to pick it up at the 11th hour, then that's fine. I still plan on taking it to Melbourne if I can, but if I've got to sacrifice something, that's the stuff. Now, there's 3 more drums there ready for the next load of heavy steel. A lot of nice empty space here, so I'm going to start unpacking a few more drums next chance I get, once I've got a few more buckets. There's a couple I found up there. A little bit more longer stuff here. A lot of aluminium and stuff to just organise there. But yeah, we're loaded, well, almost loaded. I'll just top up with brass and we'll head off in the morning. I've just pulled up at home. I've spent the rest of the afternoon organising a bit more scrap. I think I may have mentioned I'll probably be doing one each week for a while. Here's all the brass I've put in. I've got another 200 kilos thereabouts. So I'll be taking that to Melbourne in the morning. And someone asked me at one of my other scrapping videos just what sort of brass I'm actually scrapping, or what I have accumulated over the years. I'll give you a better look in the drums when I tip it out. There's a lot of just odds and ends. Some of them are antique bits and pieces from things that have been broken. We do get a lot of that sort of copper art Indian type vases and things that are damaged and not worth selling. Mostly probably plumbing fittings. This probably isn't a very good example, this bucket. A lot of plumbing fittings and various other, that's a gauge, air pressure gauge or something. And I was explaining to someone that they pay good money for clean brass, and I think the person was a little confused. They weren't a scrapper, and they were thinking that you had to actually polish it, or at least make sure it wasn't dirty, as in have dirt on it. And I said, no, there's not so much of an issue there. It's more about a lot of solder or steel impurities and that sort of stuff. So if you're new to scrapping, clean brass means no other metal impurities. It doesn't mean it has to be washed in hot soapy water. Yeah, it's probably second nature to most of us, but for someone that hasn't done scrapping before, our terms like dirty brass can be a little confusing. All right, so it's in the evening. I've just got home, as I said. The van's ready to go. I'll be taking off in the morning, probably about 9 o'clock or so. Okay, good morning guys. I'm just about to head off to Melbourne. The view you're seeing is I've bought a little camera holder that clips on the sun visor of the van, so I can now drive without having to hold the phone, which is illegal here in Australia. Probably is in most countries. And just before we head off to Melbourne, I thought I might just take you for a quick lap of the central business district of Ngambie, the main street. So just so that you can see exactly where my shop is positioned, and it's a bit of a test to see if this vision from the phone whilst mounted in this little holder is vibrates too much, or whether I can use it. So there's a roundabout here at the south end of the main street. We're coming from Melbourne heading north. The lake's just on our left, and I think I might walk around the main street one day and point out all the nice things of the town. It's a great little town, very touristy now, and it's a split main street with a nice area in the middle where they hold markets and things. We're not big enough to have real traffic lights, we only have pedestrian lights here. So there's a pokies venue and a pub just on our left, lots of shops, real estate companies, but it's only a very short main street. As I said, we're not a big town, and the bakery is just on my left there, and if we do a U-E here, you'll get a good view of where my shop is positioned. It looks like we've got a giveaway. There is a bit of traffic around, but it's midweek and the town's certainly much busier on weekends. Sounds like the council are doing a bit of grass maintenance. And there's my shop right in front of you, and Christine's shop next door, and she's just starting to open, I think. Give her a wave. So that's probably the extent of the main street. We've got another hotel here on our left, a few takeaway food shops, a toilet block in the middle of the street there, and the other side of the pedestrian crossing, traffic lights, newsagents, post office, another real estate company, and an old bank building. Bit of history to the town. It was established in about 1870. Mechanics Hall there on the left, which was built around about in the 1870s, the first part of it. And we're back to this first roundabout. So there's a quick tour of the main street of Ngambie. I told you it wasn't very big. There is a big supermarket here on the right. It's the only one we have. We don't have a secondary school in town. We just have a couple of primary schools, and there's buses go all directions in the morning to the more major towns with secondary schools, or I'm not sure what you call them in the States, college maybe. It's your late teens up to about, well, your teenage years up to about 18. Okay, we'll leave town. I might try this. We'll do a bit of a clip on the freeway and just see how this records with noise and vibration out there, but we're on our way to the scrapyard. Well, the yard's very busy this morning. There's trucks going everywhere, so I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go. I might just pull up just behind this guy until I'm told where I can unload. Certainly lots of vehicles in here. Okay, he told me just to park on... Geez, that's a lot of noise. He told me just to park on the ramp here, so hopefully we're going to be right. I'll just get out and await further direction. Okay, all organised, about to start unloading. He's brought me a small bin for the brass and a bit more of a closer look up at what our brass is. Mostly plumbing fittings. And I've tried to sell some of these through the shop, and they're just so hard to sell compared to what I get for them for brass. So probably 80 to 90 or 70 to 80% of my scrap brass will be plumbing fittings and various other brackets and hardware. Well, there's my weekly gym workout done. Indeed, it will be weekly probably from now on. There's all the heavy steel in the bin there, around about 1200 kilos I think. Apologies if you really wanted to see me tip buckets in. It's pretty much seen one, seen them all. Go back and have a look at an earlier scrap video and I'll show you tipping the buckets in. But there we go, just waiting for that to be picked up, and my tub of brass as well. Just another look at the goods now that the clouds have come over. It's a bit easier to see without the bright sunshine and the shadows. So all heavy stuff, a lot of it's pretty rusty. Some of this has been packed in drums for, not far off 20 years. So there you go, there's a fair bit of weight. Should be around about $600. And the brass again, as you can see, mostly plumbing fittings. There's a copper art style vase or something, very hard to sell even in good condition. I probably echo talking in here. A lot of taps. I do sell brass taps, but any that are a bit damaged or have issues. And nowadays, as I said, brass is such a good price that I've got to ask quite a lot for a second-hand brass tap to make it worthwhile. Alright, we just got out of the yard. I've just pulled straight across the road from the scrapyard. It's better for me to do a quick catch up with you before I hit the road, because sometimes I can't find a park for like kilometres and I just get swept along with the traffic. Pretty good load. I'll show you the figures. Okay, I've just done my invoice origami, so we don't want everyone to know our private details and business details, but here we go. In size, heavy steel, 1284 kilos, and it's still 500 a tonne, 50 cents a kilo, and there's no levy on the heavy steel, whereas there is on the pressing steel, because I do expect a bit of rubbish with it. So 642, and clean brass, 207 kilos at $8. That has dropped back a bit, so not enormous amounts. I'm still very happy with $8, but it seems the copper stream, being electric motors and brass, and I haven't actually sold copper for quite a while, has pulled back a little bit. Still very happy with that. We're still cleared just over, or just under $2,300. Another great load, more tonnage out of the yard. We'll do some calculations and look at the figures when we get home. Okay, on my way home now. Bit of a traffic jam. I'm not sure what's going on here. I thought I'd get a bit of footage and have a bit of a chat while we're going. Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on here, but we'll hopefully it's not an accident. Oh, okay, it looks like this lane's got to merge over. That's going to be interesting. So at the yard, a couple of interesting things happened. There was a guy pull up next to me with a trailer full of copper pipe, and he would have had 300 or 400 kilos, a good paying load. And I was yakking to him, and he's in the house demolition business, and he says, oh, we do a load like this every 2 weeks. So they've got a lot going on with copper. What's this guy doing, trying to push in front of the truck? Perhaps I better put my indicator on and get in behind the truck. Anyway, I said, oh, while you're demolishing old houses, do you ever come across any old bottles? Being my thing, of course. And he said, oh, we've probably got a couple of hundred in the shed. So I gave him a business card. He might send me a photo at some stage. They don't know anything much about them. Nice guy's going to let me in here. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Really nice bloke. We chatted for a while while we were waiting for the forklifts to take our scrap metal away. And the other thing, when one of the workers, the forklift drivers, brought me a bin for the brass, and he put it down and he got out and had a look, and there was a big heavy piece of flat steel in the bottom that had kind of got jammed there, and he said, oh, hang on, that's no good. So we there has been an accident here, I think. Yeah, stuff all over the road. Looks like everyone's okay, but one of the cars has been rear-ended. Just looking in my mirror, it's a bit of a mess. Anyway, he tipped it out on the concrete, and said, right, now you're ready to put your brass in. And when I did that, and then I loaded all my heavy steel, another forklift driver come along and had taken my brass, and he was about to take the heavy steel, and he saw this bit on the concrete. It would have been probably 40 kilos worth, and he picked it up and threw it in my bin. So there's a nice little bonus for the day, and that's probably why my figure was, well, it is why my figure was a little bit more than I estimated. So how cool is that? Anyway, we're back up to speed. I'm on the ring road, which is a sort of a it's usually 100 kilometres an hour, and it's just a road that skirts right across the top of Melbourne, across the northern suburbs from west to east, or east to west, depending which way you're on, which side you're on. And it makes it pretty easy to get across from the western suburbs where the scrapyards is up to the Hume freeway, which is the way I head up towards Nagambie. So fair bit of traffic on the road, but it looks like at least we're moving well. We'll be back home pretty soon. Well, not only the price of scrap is high, so is the price of diesel. $2.13.9. That's, I think, the most I've ever paid for diesel. Okay guys, I've been back in the yard for about, probably 3 hours or so. It's been a nice afternoon here. I've been packing up some more drums to go next week, so I'm going to try and do another load Tuesday next week. Coco's with me now. She missed me today. She would love to go on a trip to Melbourne, but I just can't take her down there. Let's have a look at some figures. Oh, you don't say. Yeah, I know you'd love to come. So another load out of the yard. We had just short of 1,500 kilos, as I suspected, although it wasn't far off, which makes a whisker under 10 tonne removed from the yard so far, and we've just clocked over the 15,000. A couple of people have asked with regards to the money, do you declare it? Well, it's actually part of my business. It certainly does go in my business account. Scrapyards in Australia won't actually pay cash anymore, and with an ABN, it's all declared. So thanks for watching, guys. I had to go and put Coco in the house. She's just in one of those moods. I hope you're enjoying these scrap runs. As I said, I'm going to try and do one each week. I'll bring you along. It's pretty much the same format each time, but most of you seem to enjoy it. So we'll do it each week, as well as all the other cleanup episodes, and they're going to be coming a bit faster. And I may have mentioned that I'll squeeze in a few different videos when I get a moment. So thanks for following along. Thanks for all your support. We'll catch you soon. Bye for now.